Did you know that for this movie, like the previous two movies before it, the titles of these movies are always named after a song? Wake Up Dead Man is from U2's 1997 album, Pop. I just finished watching Wake Up Dead Man. Been really excited for this movie, waiting patiently for it to drop on Netflix. Rian Johnson, when he started directing these Knives Out movies, I knew that this was his niche. Like, this is what he was really, really good at, making whodunits. And this movie really was a great addition. We now have a trilogy for Knives Out. I have three things that I liked about this movie, and my last thing is definitely my favorite. First thing I liked about this movie is the story and the motif. The story was different than the first two in a way of, it's not a whodunit as we've seen it in the past two movies where everyone is the suspect. This one is the first Knives Out movie we see where there's someone being framed. He has to figure out how to prove his innocence, but also to find out who the culprit is behind. But the other characters are not as involved as the first two because it's a different focus this time around. I really like that because I was like, how is Rian gonna make this movie another great whodunit, but mix it up from the first two to keep audiences still engaged and intrigued and give us a little something different. And this was one big way. I think the motif is very, it's religious. This is also the first Knives Out movie we had where it's all religion. It's all focused on the church. It's all focused on the Monsignor. It's all focused on Father Judd. It's all focused on belief and faith and greed and evil and what's right and what's wrong. Like, so many things, but also interwoven is taking some shots at the more extreme views of Christianity, cults even, all these mega churches with their leaders who are extremely corrupt and dishonest, and you have people streaming their stuff live and they're preaching this fire and brimstone. There's not much substance behind what they say. It's not gospel backed up. It's mainly just trying to get the masses fired up and have them actually go out and do something crazy in the name of Jesus, rather than, which I loved about this movie, is what Father Judd wanted to do was what Christians really should do is not try to cause division and strife and anger and animosity, but invite people into the church, love on them, serve them, pray for them, listen to them instead of always trying to make them angry and create them into zealots, pretty much. Like, be a humble servant rather than someone who wants just to get rich or to get famous, and using Jesus and the Bible as a platform, and then everything else becomes your God, not God himself. Second thing I liked, the characters and the plot twists. So the characters were great. Top three characters I loved were Father Judd, Martha, and Monsignor Williams. The rest of the characters, they didn't really impress me. I don't think they were fleshed out well enough for me to really get invested in them. I think we were really just trying to focus on like a trifecta. These new characters, I think it was really meant to just focus on those three, and then everyone else is kind of in the back. Bring them in when you need, but they're not the most important characters. And then one thing I like, there's always hidden stuff in movies that you catch sometimes, you miss sometimes, but Father Judd's last name, and I considered him the main suspect when I saw what his last name was. Judd Duplicity, which is very, very similar to the word duplicity. We see that in a couple ways. So he's a fighter, former fighter. In his eyes, he's an evil man. He needs redemption. Becomes a part of the church, and he feels guilty for the things in the past, so he's trying to be absolved for his sins. But there's a fight back and forth times where he's fighting between his old self and his new self. I'm not going to tell you who the killer is, obviously. I'm not going to give you any details whatsoever, because that would be a huge spoiler. I don't do that on my channel. You're going to find out for yourselves, but the plot twist was really good. Not what I was expecting, which is good, because I actually thought I had it figured out at one point, but that's what the thing I love about these movies. Rian Johnson always makes you think that you have it figured out. Even if it's staring you in front of the face, there's a lot more happening than what we're seeing. And then my favorite scene, when Benoit goes crazy and he just turns into that detective we all love, and he always is able to just transform. He's like a chameleon. Like, he can transform into any environment. He's very knowledgeable and very smart. He's in the church and everyone's there, and he's going to start uncovering all the details and putting the pieces together. Like, he transforms into Monsignor Williams, and it's like everyone was just like robots. Like, the moment he got up on that pulpit and started going fire and brimstone, everyone just sat down. Like, it's like they were programmed to just like sit down, even though they knew it wasn't Williams. But like, it's just like how they're wired. Like, it goes to show you, like, it was like cult mentality, and Benoit took advantage of that. And his performance and presence, amazing. Like, I don't know if he's ever won an Academy Award for his performance, but in my book he already has. He goes all in on this character. I mean, his accent is funny. I love his accent. But just like his mannerisms and just the chemistry he has with people on screen, and just he's very, I don't know, intriguing. Like, you just can't look away. Like, you have to see it. You know, you have to see him in action and be like, man, this guy's good, right? So with all that being said, this movie was really, really good. Great installment. Very certain we're going to get a fourth installment. I don't know any details, but I know there's enough whodunit books and movies out there that Rian could come up with another great idea and give us another phenomenal Knives Out. So for Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10 Mudflaps. So remember, leave me a thumbs up and drop in the comments below. What are your hopes for a Knives Out 4? Let me know in the comments below. See you soon!